Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about what I think is now the most important issue being litigated in maybe all of Trump land, and that is the effort by Trump to freeze the January 6th case before Judge Chutkan that has become the best and maybe last hope for a trial to be completed well in advance of the November 2024 election. Trump moved for immunity. He did it pretty late. He didn't do it until November. But everyone, including me, recognized at the top, this one is the serious one. And indeed, they played it seriously, and it's serious for two reasons. The first reason it's serious is it's not a bogus motion. You know, this is everything about the criminal prosecution is unplowed ground. But here the question, should Trump enjoy immunity for the conduct, is it looks to be a pretty good answer based on other cases. There looks to be a pretty good analytic structure, and that would be, as we've seen in other instances, is he acting within the outer perimeter of his duties? And that would be, at the January 6th speech and previously. Remember, the D.C. Circuit issued an opinion last week in a civil case against Trump that seems to be pretty supportive of the idea that here he is at a campaign rally saying this incredibly incendiary stuff. That's not the office of the president talking. That's Donald Trump, and he really should not get immunity. But, unlike all the other motions that he's bringing, including one he's bringing in this as a tandem to immunity, double jeopardy, this immunity motion has some potential gravity. Just to quickly deal with the double jeopardy motion, he's saying it's double jeopardy for me. What was the first jeopardy? The impeachment trial. So that ain't going anywhere. And then all the other things he's doing now, the outrageous discovery requests or the suggestion that the government is not living up to its obligations to give exculpatory material, all that stuff. A, he's likely to lose, and B, it doesn't go up on appeal. He'll have a right of appeal, but not until after the trial. It's a special category of issues for which defendants can get an appeal before the trial. And immunity is one par excellence, as the French lawyers might say, because it's precisely a right not to be tried in the first place. Now, what it actually is a right not to be tried and not to go through the rigors of discovery in the first place. But here, Trump waited. That's what he always does, right? What's the longest he can try to string it out? And by now, even though he's saying I shouldn't have to go to trial, and many of the cases cited in his motion are about not having to go to trial, immunity also shields you from discovery, but he waited a long time and he is now already in discovery. So all of that explains so now things are teed up before Judge Chutkan, and they're saying, Judge Chutkan, give us a stay on this immunity motion, stay of the rest of the trial. And if she did that, that means all bets are off until that immunity decision is completed at the Court of Appeals level. Not to mention the whole question mark of the Supreme Court. All right. He says to Chutkan, this automatically divests you of jurisdiction when I appealed immunity. So you don't have the case anymore. It's now with the Court of Appeals. That's got to be wrong. It isn't automatic, and there's a lot of law that says so. But that is, it's not automatic as to the whole case. It is automatic, though, as to those portions of the case that are implicated by immunity. So the DOJ came in response to Trump saying to Chutkan, stay everything, and said, don't stay everything. It's already automatically been stayed on the immunity thing itself. That happened by operation of law once Trump appealed the denial of immunity to the DC Circuit. But the other stuff doesn't happen. And indeed, you have every right to continue. And we, the United States, are going to continue. We're going to meet all our deadlines, etc. And you should order Trump to do the same. There's no issue about being freed from the rigors of discovery because he's already neck deep in them. Indeed, he's gotten the benefit of them from the United States. So they're saying, most importantly, you do not have to move the trial date. You can stay certain things, and we can wait to hear from the Court of Appeals, but the trial date goes on, including the jury selection process. I'm sorry. The jury selection process might be one of the few things they say would have to be frozen. But if that begins in mid-February, and presuming the next most important question will be what quick work, how quickly will the Court of Appeals dispose of the motion on the merits that says he has immunity here. If they find that he has immunity, there could be a very different panel. If they find he has immunity, we are not going to trial in 2024, because that then would have to be served up to the Supreme Court, and either they would take it with the chance of reversing, but it would take time, or they would leave it as it is and he's immune, and that would be close to the end of the road. Only the Supreme Court would be able to reverse it. But if they decide he doesn't have immunity, which would be very much in keeping with the decision that a ideologically diverse panel issued last week, a sort of centrist, right-winger, and left-winger, then the immunity goes away, and the question will be, how long did they take to do that? So even if they will, I think, and the United States won't resist, say there is a stay of the trial. We ain't going to trial until we decide this immunity. But that leaves two issues. Will we be doing everything else so as not to prejudice the ability to go to trial? That's issue one. And issue two is, will they decide it with enough, expeditiously enough so that after they've decided, we can then proceed to trial, and the date would not have been delayed. Now, at that point, of course, Trump can try the old 1-2 of the DC Circuit en banc and the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court takes the immunity issue and grants a stay, again, big trouble. They could try to do it very quickly, and they are, of course, the final word. So that'll be worth really watching closely at the time, because it is an issue, and people who know the court and the issues out there saw it from the day it was dropped. This is an issue that the Supreme Court could actually decide to hear and take up. Okay, but for now, what do we have? We have, most importantly, the question, will the Court of Appeals stay more than the trial, or will they let it go forward? And then second, will the Court of Appeals decide immunity on the merits quickly? That's the thing to watch now. And so a little stay motion is now, it's kind of for want of a nail, the kingdom was lost. This little stay motion could be the vehicle for stopping the most important trial in its tracks, or for letting it go on apace without any delay. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.